Changed it. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Because that's just weird. All right. Can you hear me? All right. So I just got off of another podcast, so I don't know. Anyway, all right. So here's where we are. Thank you. So uh we got new running backs. So that tells me again, our identity is in flux. Now I did some research because on the members only podcast, I think one of the members told us a bit about Delaware, that there's Aiken, they're similar to the team we played last year, North Dakota State. And I was like, yeah, that wasn't a blowout, right? So Delaware State just moved up to FBS, and they moved into the same conference that Caden played in, Conference USA, right? So it seems that they know exactly who they are. They're coming in with an air raid offense, like we used to have, like we had with Shedeur, like we had at Jackson State with Shedeur. It seems that going out and getting three more running backs makes you believe that we're going to try to this whole run heavy offense again, right? And then they're coming in solid, right? They're excited because they just moved up from FCS to FBS, so they with the schools that go to the bowl games. And that's good for them, but they know exactly who they are. We have two situations, well, possibly three situations that could cause us to lose this game to a North Dakota State type opponent. One, our identity. If we go back to trying to run this ball more than 140 yards and we negate the wide receivers and we turn the quarterbacks into game managers to just hand off the ball to the receivers, and if we didn't fix the right tackles to do run block, then we could lose, right? We could lose because we didn't fix what? We didn't fix the right tackles that were allowing Caden to get sacked and didn't have any coverage for him. Second issue, we got two quarterbacks playing in this game. Now, typically, that's not a problem. What we expected was what? We expected for Caden, the starter, that Coach Prime just named the starter, we expected Caden to play the game, get it up to a good margin, and then Juju come in. So we expect the game to be a blowout, and then Caden can take a rest and hand it off to Juju, especially after the Georgia Tech game, because why? We need Caden to keep going. We got to get Caden involved. We got to get the quarterback early. But that's not what's happening. There's pressure from outside forces to just run with Juju and make him the starter now and just act like Caden didn't come to Colorado. And I don't know why that is. And I don't know why Coach Prime would entertain that. But that's where we are. So we're coming in with people trying to pressure Coach Prime to just roll with Juju from here on out. If Coach Prime thought that Juju could be the starter, he would have named him the starter. So why is the outside pressure mattering? Why is anybody listening to the outside pressure? That's a big question mark. Also, getting three more running backs when we needed right tackles and to get our quarterback, Caden Salter, involved, I feel like is a distraction away from the main thing. We just lost a big game that has us dead last. Y'all, we are dead last in the Big 12. If there's 16 teams, we're number 16. That means the Georgia Tech game meant a lot to us. It was a game that mattered. The stakes were high, but we lost it. So now we're dead last, and we got to try to come back up to the top. And instead of focusing on, let's get our identity together, or we going to still be a pass-heavy offense, and we getting ready to play a pass-heavy offense, or are we still confused, and we going to try to turn into 330 yards on the ground and negate the wide receivers? That's how we could lose. We don't have our identity anymore. I knew Coach Prime said we were going to run the ball. And that's fine. Because when you have a negative 29 yards, when you say you're going to run the ball more, okay, that's 50 yards, that's 60, 90. I give you 120, 140 max. In no way in that statement does that mean we're going to bypass the 17 wide receivers we have. We have 17 wide receivers because we're a pass heavy offense. So coming into the Delaware game with not understanding what your identity is, are you still pass heavy or are you switching to run heavy is a problem. That's one. Two, the quarterback. There's no clarity here. I thought Caden was the starter. Why is it people are saying in this game, Juju is going to play most of the minutes? Why is there pressure for that to even happen? Why wouldn't Coach Prime just say, hey, Caden is the starter. You're going to see Juju, but Caden is the starter. And if the score gets up to a good place, we'll let Juju play. Why not say that? That way we can have clarity. We can have clarity and we can know what to expect. From what I'm hearing, Juju's supposed to be playing most of the game. And people feel like this is an easy game. But remember, this is the North Dakota State level. Don't take your foot off the gas right here, or it could just end just like that Stanford game. You think you got this, and you coming in with all of this uncertainty. You coming in with all of this quiet chaos with your identity and your quarterbacks. That builds tension among the players, right? They just want to go play football. So that's the second thing. The third thing is the run defense. I shared with the members that Brent Key, the Georgia Tech head coach, said that we looked like we were panicking on defense and we were just trying anything. And we went away from what works for CU, what's in our DNA. You could name 5 head coaches, or I could name 5 head coaches. Lincoln Riley, Steve Sarkisian. Oh, I don't know if that's his first name, but Sarkisian. Hell, Nick Saban. 2 more. Excuse me, Lord. I hate to say it. Dan Lanning. And I don't know. Let's see. Pick somebody else. Just pick somebody. If you throw out a quarterback, you throw out a head coach, you're going to know what? His identity, his playing style. If I say Coach Prime, you think Shedeur, you think pass-heavy offense. Why isn't that happening this year? Because we're changing. And when we go out and get 3 more running backs today or yesterday and add them to the 5 or 6 that we already have, it looks like we're pivoting away from a pass-heavy offense to gear up for more runs. That's 2. What we're not talking about is the run defense and the play calling for the offensive coordinator on offense. That's 3. That's the third reason. Because we haven't decided to hold those people accountable. But even Brett Key from Georgia Tech can tell us that the defense was just throwing things against the wall, trying to make it stick, and went away from what they typically do, their DNA. But Coach Prime said we didn't lose because of the DC. He said we didn't lose because of the OC. That's why this game is not going to be as easy as people think. I haven't heard anybody else say that Delaware is like North Dakota State, so you should know it's not going to be as easy as you think. I haven't heard anybody else say that. I actually took a look at their game that they just played, and honestly, it doesn't matter who they played either. You can see their identity in the stats. Let's take a look. All right, so I'm getting ready to share my screen. Oh, here I go. Okay, I want y'all to see. You're going to be able to see what I mean by identity. I'm thinking my other microphone broke. I just bought that. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. You should be able to see it. I have so many windows open. All right. All right. You can see my screen, right? I'm over here to the side, guys. All right. You can see their identity in the stats, right? This is their quarterback over here, Nick Minucci, something like that. 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, 28 of 36. I can tell you that they are pass-heavy offense. They're rushing 44 yards, right? That's what we used to, right? That's what CU is used to. We're not used to a heavy run, right? So even when they play a lesser opponent, they just give the quarterback time to put up numbers. They're not going to a run-heavy offense. They got a quarterback trying to get to the league. Whether it's this year or next year, they giving him the opportunity to let it fly against what they think is a lesser opponent, which was Delaware State, which may or may not be HBCU. I'm not sure. 3 touchdowns, 28 of 36, 3 touchdowns, 251 yards. Rushing 9 carries, 44 yards, 1 touchdown. Jake Thaw, the receiver. How many yards the receiver had? 92. This tells you they are a pass-heavy offense. This is how you know that you get ready. You need to prepare your defense for a pass-heavy offense. And their head coach, I'm going to share a clip. He has some nice things to say about us, including DJ McKinney. You know they like to talk good about us. They don't want to give us no bulletin board material, but they come in all demure and Christian-like, and then they try to put a BTA on us to kind of like make sure we're disarmed. Let's take a listen to what he said about us. I mean, like I said, what he said was good, right? But at the same time, I think they be playing us when they be sitting there trying to be all nice. Trying to be all nice. Let's see. All right, this him right here. All right, get ready to change it. All right. You should be able to see. All right, I can see him. I just want to make sure I can see him. Okay. This is Delaware's coach. This is the opponent for Colorado this week.
On the defensive side of the ball, I would say, the person that you can see flash a little bit more than everybody else is number 8, McKinney. They're one corner, great football player, talented. The thing that I've noticed overall, to answer your question too, less specifically, is a difference in speed. They may lose in a one-on-one battle for a tick, and if you're not throwing that thing right on time, it's going to get deflected or picked off because the makeup speed is a little bit different than we're accustomed to. And I think you see the same thing on the offensive side. The 1 or 2 times they got the ball to, their guys in space, there was explosion coming out of it. We're going to have to win some one-on-ones to win this game. That is 100% certain. We've got to be precise. And, when we're not, there will certainly be the ability for them to make up and kind of get us back out of our game because of the talent level that they have overall. It's an overarching theme is the talent and speed that they have on their in particular on their defense is special.
All right. So the talent and speed that we have on defense is special. DJ McKinney, they have zeroed in on DJ McKinney. They have zeroed in on DJ McKinney. As my 4th grade teacher said, they got your number. That's what she said. I didn't know what the hell she meant, but now I think I get it. They know exactly who we are, right? And we have a defense that played Georgia Tech last week that didn't know that they were going to have to get ready to block the run, whether it was Haynes King, a true dual threat, or the other Haynes, Jamal Haynes, I think, or somebody like that, that was their running back, right? If I look at the stats, I can tell you that that's their identity. So these people going to pass it all night. So like he said, the secondary, they going to have to be on it, right? And just like Georgia Tech, right? We're going to have to take care of what? The turnovers. We're gonna have to try to force some. The defense gonna have to try to force it. But when we get it, we're gonna take care of it this time. See, we don't want to talk about that. We ran out and got 3 more running backs as if we didn't have enough running backs last week. But when we got 17 wide receivers, but we should have been talking about taking care of the turnovers and keeping the defense off the field. These people got our number. They don't give FBS, but they're FBS now. They're North Dakota State level now. And when we played North Dakota State, it wasn't a blowout. I have that game up here too. All right, this is the North Dakota State game. I'm going to share that with you so you can see. Meaning we have to know who we are. They know who we are. We knew who we were last year. We knew what we expected to see versus Georgia Tech. We didn't see it. So I don't think we really know who we are right now. Not if we ran out and got 3 more running backs and we didn't get any more. I'm disappointed. I thought we would have got some more right tackles. Because when Coach Prime said that he couldn't put Juju out there, he got to protect him, then you know that running back's not going to protect Juju. You know you need right tackles because Seaton does his job. That's the kind of thing that the main thing. We got to keep the main thing the main thing. So, I feel like we're in the middle of an identity crisis right now. Instead of running the ball more, it's like somebody trying to hijack the passing game and replace it with the run game. And that's a terrible position to be in year 3 and going into the second game after you just lost the first game. You got to stick to what did Brent Key say? Colorado's DNA, meaning they know who we are. All right, so let's see if I can show y'all these numbers with when we played North Dakota State, just so you can see, right? This team, wasn't FBS. I don't know if they moved up now. People say they should have because they're really good. But I think I heard the whole program, the whole school, all of the sports have to be willing to move up. And that's what Delaware just achieved. So that means they're not going to be a little late. It's not going to be like where you could just a little pushover. Oh, let's see here. All right, let's see. I'm going to have to switch it. Oh, maybe I got rid of it. I might have got rid of it because I know I had to make some space. I might have closed it out. But the point is, when it comes to, let's see if I can get it back. When it comes to, let's see, Colorado versus 2024. Oh, here it is right here. All right, I got it back. So when it comes to all right, let's see if y'all can see my screen. All right, there we go. All right. So when it comes to North Dakota State, as you can see, they were a lower conference, right? Unless they just moved up. We didn't win that game by a lot, did we? 31-26, 5 points. And it's supposed to be easy. You see? And Delaware is the same type of team as North Dakota State. Look at the DNA for Colorado. Passing yards, Shadeur Sanders, 445 yards. We had 159 yards against Georgia Tech. We left 100, 130, 180 yards on the table because we didn't use the wide receivers. It's not like, and true, we went to the run game more. Yeah, for what, 130 yards? It's not like we went 331 yards. So we should have had about 300 to 400 yards. We just left them on the table because we didn't do anything with it. And that's the problem. That's not something that typically happens with CU. So Shedeur was 26 of 34, 445 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. You got a quarterback getting to the league, just like Delaware, right? Heavy passing game. Dallin Hayden, 20 yards. What did they have? 44. So it's not unheard of to have a minuscule run game if you have a heavy air attack. That's CU's identity. That's CU's DNA, an air raid offense. But this year, they want to go with, we want to run the ball more. Okay, if you were a negative 29 last year, then I expect you to be right here at a positive 20 or 44. Hell, I give you 99 depending on who we playing. I'll even gift you for Christmas 150 yards on the ground. But ain't no way in hell the quarterback for CU supposed to only have 159 yards. And the receivers only got 39 tops. That's an identity crisis. That's an identity crisis. That's what I'm talking about. And Jimmy Horn Jr. had 198 in this game. Again, players trying to get to the league. We got players trying to get to the league. Omarion. Sincere Brown. I don't even know if he had any yards last week. This is our DNA right here. This is what we have been seeing. At least I know I have since Trinity Christian. And just because Shadeur's gone, you have no excuse because remember, he handed the keys over to Juju. And then Coach Prime went and got Caden Salter, who put up big numbers in the same conference that Delaware has moved into. Caden is expected to be the rushing leader for quarterbacks in the Big 12 that we're now at the bottom of because plays were not drawn up for him to use his legs. This is what an identity crisis looks like. The identity crisis that we have is why we could lose this game. The run defense, they don't know who they are either. And that's exactly what Brent Key, Georgia Tech's coach, was saying. He said, I can tell they were panicking. They were trying things that they don't typically do. And when you just start throwing anything against the wall and move away from what you're used to doing, what got you to greatness, you're panicking. Panicking is why we could lose this game. I feel like the identity crisis is the main problem. But now that people want to pressure Coach Prime to let Juju play the most of this game when we need to get Caden going because Pat Schumer neglected him as the quarterback, it's some kind of distraction that could have us on the wrong side of this game. I showed you this is not no Rudy Poo type team. Shout out to the member, I think Contextual, that told us who Delaware really is. So once again, we know who they are. They coming into FBS with an air raid offense. You see, they ain't worried about that run game. Now, when you got a quarterback that can let it fly, we got a dual threat that can let it fly and who put up hella rushing numbers, who's expected to do the same. We're not doing that, though. Instead, we ran out here and got 3 running backs to go with the other 4 that we already have, instead of getting some capable and efficient right tackles so they could protect the damn quarterback, regardless of who it is. So the distractions, we don't know who the hell the quarterback gonna be. It's pressure about who the quarterback should be. It negates what Coach Prime decided. The offensive coordinator, nobody wants to hold him accountable. He just gonna keep doing what he's been doing. And we went to get 3 running backs to prove that. That all of that quiet chaos is why we could lose this game. So that's where we are with Colorado. The game is tomorrow. Feel free to drop the time. Yes, I'm probably going to watch it. I'm rooting. Let me tell you what I'm cheering for. I'm rooting that we get it together on who the hell we're going to be this year. I can't say let's beat this team because it's too many moving parts. That's not where they're supposed to be. It's too much chaos for a team that's going into the 3rd year. It's too much chaos on an identity, unsure identity for a coach that had an established identity. But we have outside forces trying to force him into who the quarterback should be. And we have an old offensive coordinator that act like he wasn't there last year. And he want to uproot the whole damn identity of the team, the DNA, and turn it into a run-heavy 330 yards on the ground. You didn't go get 3 more running backs to run 90 or 120 yards because you did that with the ones you had. So that's why the game could be in jeopardy. They got to get it together. It was together for the longest, but it seemed like the people overruling Coach Prime, Pat Schumer, and outside forces where Juju's concerned, the media, DNVR, are the ones causing the problem. So let me see what y'all saying about this, and we can move on to Shedeur. Hey, Miss Pamela, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yep, hit the like button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Salute, salute. Hey, Queen, how you doing? Marlon, how you doing? How you doing? Thank y'all, thank y'all. I guess my little microphone broke. Thank y'all so much. It said if K Salter's still sick, this is troubling. No, I don't know. I don't know. Hell, somebody say just let Ryan Staub start because this is ridiculous, right? I mean, why would we go to Juju as a freshman if we got Ryan Staub right there if Caden is sick? Does anybody understand what's going on here? That makes absolutely no sense. If Coach Prime thought he could lead the team, he would have made him the starter. It just seems like people just trying to overrule Coach Prime's decision. It says sound like Coach Prime is being pulled in different directions. It sounds like he isn't in control anymore. Schumer is running a show. I don't know. I just want him to get it together. If the fans are loyal, why not root for both players? I don't think it's the fans. That's the crazy part. It's not the fans. The fans are like, what are we doing? See, the fans are used to Coach Prime calling all the shots. We're used to knowing who the quarterback gonna be before the season starts. We're used to knowing who the that we're gonna throw the ball to the receivers. We're used to having our identity or DNA not in question. We're not used to all of this chaos. This is chaos. We have Ryan Staub, who was QB2 behind Shedeur. Why the hell, if Caden is sick, one, did they make him play? Two, why is Ryan Staub not QB2? It's not the fans. The fans are the ones in the comment sections wondering why the hell are y'all trying to force Juju in to play right now? I agree. Because, I mean, if Coach Prime named Caden the starter, then he felt like Juju wasn't ready. And I saw the spring game. Right? He gonna have his nervous jitters. This ain't the time to be working on that. You work on that when Caden get the score secured into at least a three touchdown lead. Then Juju could play. That's what typically happens. But we have outside forces trying to put Caden in the same situation Shadeur was in Cleveland. Oh, I just want Juju to play. Okay. Just like in Cleveland, Stefanski, I just want Dylan to play. First of all, Juju is not a Dylan. He's a star in his own right. He's the future of CU. People are trying to make that immediate while instead of that's what they want to talk about. Instead of focusing on what you're going to do about this damn play calling. We got to sit up here and hear about Juju going to be playing more minutes than Caden. Fans don't like that. They're like, what is happening? That's why I said we went out and got 3 running backs. Juju going to be playing more minutes than Caden. We going to a heavy run game and we leaving our wide receivers with holding their hands. What is going on? This is what we're doing before the big game. Kirby Smart. Yep, that's another one. That's another one. Too many receivers and too many running backs. Right. It's like you're sending a mixed message. It's like you recruited for a heavy pass game. And I know this because you went and got Juju to be the future, and Shedeur handed him the keys, which meant he's similar to Shedeur. And then you went and got Caden, who's a dual threat and can use his legs. But today you ran out and got 3 more running backs. If we got our dual threat QB, I don't need 7 running backs. I can go with the running backs I had and call some run plays for the quarterback. That's what the RPO, that's what you're supposed to do. So that's what I mean by what is happening here, huh? That's where we at before Delaware. So they're not some Rudy Poo team. They're just like North Dakota State, and we got a little chaos happening. We in an identity crisis. But now we got all these running backs and 17 wide receivers and no plays for a run PO for a dual threat quarterback. But they trying to put in the pocket passer for the future. And they don't even want to put in Ryan Staub, who was the number 2 behind Shedeur. Juju is a prolific passer. What the hell we get more running backs for? Right. It said, girl, I'm not watching the Browns until they play Shedeur. We got it, Saeed. Facts. Everybody's on that. It said, does he trust K Salter? I don't know why the hell he would. Hell, the Big 12 did. The Big 12 had Caden as a rushing QB, the number 1 rushing QB. Caden Salter put up the same number of touchdowns as Cade Klubnik, who's number 2, by the way, or 3. Could be top 5 now. Things are changing. But Caden over here in the Big 12, he getting his props from the Big 12. He got his props from NCAA. He was a top 15 quarterback till Pat Schumer decided to act like he wasn't a dual threat quarterback and try to turn him into a game manager. which messed up his ranking. So now he got to try to take CU from number 16 dead last. And that ain't even his fault. And for the people who thought it is, they just went and get some more running backs. Gail said, has anyone seen the NFL Gatorade commercial? They have Shedeur as the face of the Browns. They have Shedeur as the face of the Browns on everything. 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 It says sabotage. Whoever is in charge is working against Coach Prime to make him look bad. It makes him look like he's not in charge. I totally agree, Tina. He clearly isn't in charge. If not, CU is doomed. I thought K-Salt was going to pass the ball more. I mean, that's what everybody thought. Why? Because that's what's in Colorado's DNA, a heavy pass game. I'm sure that's what he thought when Caden thought. I'm sure that's what he thought when he decided to come to CU. He saw what Shedeur did. Why would we go against that? To run the ball more means get out of the negative and get into the positive. As you can see, who are we playing tomorrow? Delaware? They don't have an identity crisis because they only have 44 yards on the ground. They have an understanding that they have an air raid offense. That's just also what Colorado had. Why are we changing it now? I have no idea. It says, CU invested too much time in recruiting Juju. They had a whole campaign to get him here. I'm sure the pressure is crazy to play him ASAP, whatever he's ready or not. And that must be the problem, that boy Wig, because he said in his press conference that he didn't put Juju in the Georgia Tech game because of the flow of the game. And that just meant he didn't trust it, and I understood that, right? It wasn't going well. Well, after that press conference, it was said, and again, it's like other people are pushing the buttons. It was said, well, Juju gonna play regardless of the flow of the game. I'm like, wait a minute, who the hell is out here making decisions? When I read that, I'm like, Juju gonna start regardless of the flow of the game. So to me, Coach Prime named Caden Salter the starter, and outside forces are trying to change that. And maybe Pat Schumer too, because he on the inside. So it's Pat Schumer working with the people at DNVR to move Caden Salter the hell out the way? Real question. Because I don't know why DNVR got so much stake in the game. I don't know why they over there cheering for Juju to start over Caden Salter. What they got to do with it? It's what Coach Prime says goes, right? So now they trying to usurp Coach Prime? You the media. Be respectful. So for that to get changed as if the flow of the game, it don't matter. Juju got to play. Like Coach Prime said, I can't just put that kid out there. I have to protect him. So I was disappointed when I heard we got 3 new players. I'm like, oh, clearly they on the right side of the O-line. Right guard, right tackle. I'll take whatever I could get. Right tackle really is a problem. But no, we got 3 running backs. I'm like, so who in charge around here? And all of this is happening a day or two before we played Delaware, who just moved up the ranks. I smell transfer coming. Something happening. I don't know who gonna transfer, but somebody gonna move on. It said, I think Coach Prime Day is a number. I don't think he going nowhere because he just got that big contract. It said maybe Juju dad is saying put him in or else. That's some, I just want to know. Why is it that DNVR, I think Uncle Neely was on that show, and they seem to be, and the people in the comments didn't like it. They seem to be pushing the narrative that, they excited that Juju will play more than Caden. I don't even know why they would bring that up. Why are we usurping what Coach Prime decided who the starter was going to be? Why are we not dealing with the main problem of the OC play calling? And now when we got Georgia Tech coach telling everybody, including us, that the defense was just out here all willy-nilly and panicking, why are we not dealing with that? Because that's the defensive coordinator. But we entertaining pressure from outside to change what Coach Prime has made a decision about. Caden Salter being the starting quarterback for this team. I'm like, you just going to cause friction within the program. You can't yield to outside pressure from the media. Why they have a stake in who the hell the quarterback is? You're supposed to be just reporting what happened. So if Coach Prime say something, they just come behind it and seem to switch it on out and push for something else. I'm gonna keep an open mind to the game before I form an opinion. I want to see what happens this week. Yeah, we could win. I'm not saying we're going to lose. What I'm saying is it's a lot happening that would explain why we could lose this game. For one, people not taking Delaware seriously and they think that they some pushover team when they're not. We didn't even beat the last 9 FBS team by 3 touchdowns. Or I think we're supposed to win by 23 points. We beat North Dakota State by 5 points. So level set your expectations. That was my point of showing that I'm not saying we're going to lose this game, but I'm saying we could lose this game because it's a lot going on that is serious. Our identity has a question mark around it. Outside forces trying to force Juju as the starter for the rest of the season because they like him. I don't know why they have a stake in the game. I don't even know why Coach Prime would entertain that. Again, I don't even know why Uncle Neely would go on DNVR and say that he assumed by the end of the game, Juju going to have been played more minutes than Caden. What the hell is that? Caden is a human being. And I will remind people, this is exactly what's happening to Shedeur in Cleveland, which is mind-bending. We don't want that for Shedeur, so I don't want it for Caden. And I want this program to have some stability. And I don't want to see outside people trying to force Coach Prime into any position or alter what he has decided, even if it's coming internally, like the offensive coordinator. Coach Prime has to lead Colorado to victory despite Pat Schumer. And running out and getting 3 more running backs seems like we're committed to Pat Schumer's way of doing things. And having people talk about Juju going to possibly pay more minutes than Caden seems to be bending to DNVR's way of doing things. When Coach Prime said, I got to protect this kid. And he's right. And for all, we got 4 quarterbacks. Why we don't want to see Dominique Ponder? Why not put Ryan Staub in? Like, what kind of favoritism is happening here? We're trying to win football games. It said, DNVR wonder if they are part of the sabotage. I don't know, but they definitely seem to be trying to force an objective, and that's just not right. Of course, Shedeur is everywhere. It's that they're trying to sell tickets, right? Because that's what we get ready to talk about. So let's switch over. So y'all see what's, you got to just know what's going on. Remember, we talked about it with the NFL. You need a holistic view to understand the things that's just not making sense. Like the Georgia Tech game, it just didn't make sense the way it went. Why? Because we have an identity crisis. Because in Coach Prime's coaching career, this is the first time, it seems to me, that he won't have an air raid offense. That instead the offensive coordinator gets his way, or the running back coach gets his way. So we have an identity crisis. I think everyone wants to see the receivers get out there. Right. I want to see the receivers. I know who the quarterback is because I know Juju not going to play Arizona State and Iowa State. And it's a mistake for us to focus on, is Juju going to play more minutes than Caden when we have to play those teams? And Caden didn't get a proper footing in the game thanks to Pat Schumer play calling. But we want to talk about, well, I want Juju to play going forward. Well, that's just what the hell it is you want. Okay. But don't be out here trying to force and alter what Coach Prime has said. He's still the coach. It's disrespectful to come into his house and talk about that. It's disrespectful. Here are my thoughts. We aren't going to blow out Delaware. I'm calling it 20-21-14 Buffs. Also, I'm calling a 4th quarter win. Okay, I'll put a star by it. Feel free to drop your predictions. Yeah, people want to see the receivers because I don't give a damn how many running backs you get. We had them receivers first, and that's our identity. That's our DNA. We're going to need an explanation for why it's not. And I don't need 7 running backs plus a dual threat quarterback with legs, with shackles on his feet, so a run game can get done. Tell me that makes sense to you. Tell me it makes sense to shackle Caden Salter in his run game and go get 3 more running backs in addition to the 4 or the 5 we have. No. It said, Lord have mercy. You try not to formulate things in your mind, but Lord, I mean, you can't ignore it. You don't know the motive. You can see what's happening, but you don't know why. It said they are going to mess around and have Juju look like Arch Manning. Yeah. I mean, Coach Prime said it. I can't put him out here. I gotta protect this kid. I'm like, you need some right tackles. Coach Prime may be loyal to a fault. I don't know. It could be, but he gonna have to put his foot down. A lot of flip flopping is going on. They want Coach Prime to look bad. A lot of people gonna feel like that. Coach Prime need to stand firm on his decisions. If he want Queso to be the starter, that's what it is, and that's it. He needs to handle Schumer right. I think Juju would be Shedeur, and he gonna get better every rep. From what I understand, Shedeur was out here working miracles. Juju gonna have to go through what Shedeur went through to get to be Shedeur. Hell, Shedeur wouldn't be him without what he went through. Shedeur, I don't know if people realize Shedeur had to learn how to play football without an O line. Juju ain't don't have they have never been in that situation. And look at the guys in the league that have. Tyler Shaw, you see his situation. Jackson Dart, they got 4 knocks around him because he not used to it either. And Dylan Gabriel. That's not who Juju is. You need an O-line. When Coach Prime said, I can't just put this kid out here, I have to protect him, he was spot on. So we should have got some more right tackles. Unless we got some more and we just haven't played them yet. But we definitely didn't need no more running backs. We need to be happy with 140 yards and go with almost 300 in the air because that's our DNA. Can we get the likes up? Thank you, Gracie. It said naming the QB earlier would have resulted in better chemistry. I think so too. Waited to the last minute that people trying to change it. It's like it's so fresh in their minds and it's not what they wanted. They out here trying to change it. Like I don't understand. And it's almost the Archman and Juju situation is the same. I'm a big fan of Juju, right? I'm a big fan of him being CU's future. I'm not a big fan of Caden being handicapped by what's his name? Schumer in game 1, go and get 3 more running backs and not using and planning for run POs with a dual threat, which is exactly what Jordan Seaton said. I'm not in favor of going against that at all because what are you doing? Why are you doing it? I don't even want to know why. What the hell are you doing? You're creating chaos. So yes, I agree, Val. Had we named Salter the starter, probably the last month before the game, 30 days to get it in, then I think maybe people wouldn't be out here trying to at the last minute or just up and change it. You haven't seen anything from Caden that makes you think that he shouldn't be the quarterback. You just want it to be somebody else. And the question is, do you feel like that because you don't like Coach Prime's decision? That's the real problems here. Very disrespectful and disingenuous, but predictable if moles are planted. Facts. It said Pat acting like Kevin Stefanski all day. I think changing the quarterback isn't going to change anything because the players aren't the problem. Right. So when you have these meetings and people are talking about, the players got to do this, the players got to do that. I'm like, the players ain't going to do nothing because they see you not holding the DC and the OC accountable. If Brent Key can call out the defense and we can call out the offense, and Jordan Seaton can say it, and you say that that's not the problem, then that's why we got all this chaos. That's why when you look at the meetings, they not locked into what he's saying. They just have these expressions on their faces. You can't get mad with people if you don't want to hold the problem accountable and you only want to focus on them. You can't do that. You're going to lose them like that. The score will be close. Schumer going to run the same plays. So Juju purely better off in that offense. Yeah, well, hopefully they block for him because that was a problem in the last game. Juju has a marketable look. I don't understand none of this mess. I don't know. It's almost like it's the same issue with Arch Manning to me. I get it with the Mannings because he's a Manning. I have no idea. It's like they trying to play favorites. I'm telling you, it's the same thing Shedeur going through in Cleveland. You don't even know what it is Juju could do in this situation because I ain't seen it. I see what he could do in practice. I haven't seen what he could do without an O-line because he don't have one on the right side. And if they block for him and not for Caden, then that's a bigger problem. Then that means everybody around there trying to stand against the guy that they brought in. And I heard somebody say they haven't seen any leadership from Caden. Then you haven't been paying attention. Because from the moment he landed on the ground, he was a leader. I watched all those videos when they were in the off season and taking the initiative to go practice, and he was up there leading them. I think people just, for whatever reason, want to move Caden out the way. Maybe because he got 2 black parents. You know, you can never understand some of these people's motivations because you don't think like that. But that's the problem in the NFL, right? So, yeah, there are people that want to mess it up for Caden. Maybe he number 17. CU has always had an air raid offense. Right. And why we got 7 running backs, I don't know. Because they don't even have that many in the NFL. I have no problem with giving Juju some playing time, but a lot of coaches do this. Coach Prime is still going to start Caden Salter. We'll get more playing time. The score will be 38-14. All right. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it. It says the offense is going to look bad no matter what quarterback they throw in there. And that's what I don't understand how people don't see. The problem with CU is actually layered. Pat Shurmur's play calling with these 2 people over here at right tackle, 53 and 55. If either one of them get back on that field and then they decide to do their job, then they were decided not to with Caden. Just like they decided not to with Shedeur. Let's be clear. Juju is not close to the pen to go into the NFL. Caden is. Let that sink in for a minute. Oh, I want Caden to play. I want Juju to play because he ain't going to the NFL right now. And just like Lenore Sellers last year, Lenore Sellers this, Lenore Sellers that. He got set the hell up in game 1. Why? Because he on his way out, just like Caden. Be paying attention what they doing to these black QBs. Don't be surprised if you see people trying to change it up for Caden at CU. Didn't they do it for Shedeur? I told you it wasn't because of his dad. Caden is getting ready to go to the league. Despite what we think about it, there are people who don't want that many black QBs coming out in the top. They want Caden to be in a situation like Shedeur where he's a 5th round QB. And in 2 years, he's gone like DTR. Caden has a slight hamstring pull. All right. Well, I don't know what the hell they're going to do then. Prime is about merchandising. I don't really think that's true. I think he's a good coach. I just don't understand why he's allowing Pat Shurmur and outside forces to go against the DNA, the legacy. If Shadeur's jersey is retired, then Coach Prime has an established legacy in a way of playing football at CU. Why would you let Pat Shurmur uproot that? Why would you let these people over in this media, DNVR, try to force you into playing Juju and overlook Caden and put him in the same position that Shedeur is in and that Shedeur went through? Shedeur was blocked off the stage because they didn't want him to come out number 1 overall. So now we supposed to sit up here and watch y'all do it to Caden? Nah, that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen at all. You got to be loyal to these players. It said those 3 running backs are future. They won't even hardly play this year. Then we don't need them, right? Then we needed some right tackles. Why the hell do I need 3 running backs right now? Why do I need that? I have what, 4? Plus my running back, my quarterback's legs. Why do I need to go get 3 running backs today? I need some right tackles. The dots are connecting. It said it's a soap opera. Yep, it's a soap opera. The run game can work for us, but mix it up with some play action. I didn't see that last time. Right. That's what people were saying. It was too, I guess you could say, predictable. It was generic. I think even Brent Key was calling the play calling generic. I don't know if he was talking about the defense last year or this year, but he did call it generic. CU has been known for air raid game for decades. It says CP was sick and the OC did what he wanted. Replace Shurmur. It says CP brought new running backs for the scout team. They play a lot of dual QBs this season. Yeah. Okay. That's good. But what do you need? I can't put this kid out here. I got to block. I got to protect him. It said, truth be told, he misses his sons in the NFL drama would take a toll on any father. I don't think that have anything to do with it. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, it's a good point, but I just don't, right? And once again, we have 17 wide receivers, right? And yeah, some of them on the scout team. We had people saying, oh, we just got 3 running backs, 3 walk-ons or whatever to put on the scout team, right? But you still have a right tackle problem. Why you didn't go get no right tackles and put them on the scout team? I'm waiting. You see, people want to explain away things as being acceptable. Your fans just went in talking about why are we running the ball and not also throwing the ball. You can do both. The UCF game, you know you got to protect Juju, but you get 3 running backs for the scout team. You don't get no more right tackles on the scout team. Okay. So that's that on that. Again, nobody's saying we can lose this game, but there's a lot going on as we're coming in to this game, right? It's too much going on about our identity. What game? We don't even know what kind of game we expect to see. Should we expect to see more of Georgia Tech? Should we expect to see more of UCF? What do you expect to see? Drop it in the chat. More of the offense from Georgia Tech or more of an offense from UCF? Because they're different. One is our identity and one isn't. I can tell you that Delaware is coming into town with their air raid offense because they know exactly who they are. And they're not trying to change it because they went into FBS. It says, see, you need a right tackle and an interior defensive line playing much better. Right. Go get them on the scouting team. Why you didn't get them? You do need some people on defense on the scout team for sure. Why you didn't get them? I don't think Juju will play until 3rd or 4th. Okay. We'll see. If some people say Caden is sick, I'm thinking we should see Ryan Staub. That's what I'm thinking. If Caden has a hamstring issue, then we'll see Ryan Staub and Juju. Val said we're going to see a Georgia Tech style offense. What y'all think? I'm waiting on y'all. Y'all let me know. Let me know. Now we're going to pivot over to Shedeur. I was looking at the ticket sales. So while y'all tell me what kind of offense you think we're going to see. If it's going to be UCF, which is what Colorado's DNA is, or is it going to be Georgia Tech? So it's you know what I really should say? Are we going to see a Coach Prime style offense, or are we going to see a Pat Schumer style offense? You see how that worked? All right. So it said, I would like to see that balance from the UCF game. Facts. That's what I wanted to see. That's what I expected to see from Georgia Tech. But we didn't see it. So, all right. So while y'all tell me which one you think we're going to see, then I'll just move on to Shedeur. All right. So y'all know the Battle of Ohio is the game that is played on Sunday. It is the Bengals versus the Browns. Now, many people are planning for a stay away. What does that mean? It means that they're not planning to go to the game. I think the game is in Cleveland. Am I right? Let's see. Is it in Cleveland? Yeah, it's in Cleveland it's in Ohio. It says Paycor Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. I think it's an away game. Anyway, a lot of fans that came into the NFL or that were already NFL fans that decided to follow Shedeur's career in Cleveland have kind of been tuning out. And what we've noticed is the media, the podcasters, all of it. Even Cleveland, they realized that we just kind of fell back. We just took a step away because we realized they were just using him for engagement. So a lot of people are planning to stay away, not watching the game, some not going to the game. In other words, people really wanted to see Shedeur. That's the sentiment on X and other platforms. People are sad. They really want to see Shedeur play this weekend. But Shedeur, according to the internet, is the Browns say he's not playing because he's not ready. He's only listed as an emergency QB if something happens to Flacco or if something happens to Dylan. But my thing is, if he's not ready to play, how is he going to help you in an emergency? Anybody got any answers? You see, if he's not ready to play, how is he going to help you in emergency? Do they have some type of emergency offense? Is that what they're going to call for Shedeur when he get in because he's not ready to play football? So we're going to call an emergency offense if Dylan is incapable and Flacco is incapable. There must be an emergency offense. It must mean you sit down all the starters and you just let the practice squad that he's been throwing the ball to, because you got rid of your third and fourth stringers. So you're going to rest the first and second team and you're going to bring the scout team onto the field. Are they dressed out? What the hell does an emergency quarterback do if they're not ready to play the game? So for the Cleveland Browns, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. This game should be sold out. It's a rival game between two teams in Ohio. It is not. And the ticket prices are falling. Instead of $181, it's down to $98. And by Sunday, it's probably going to be down to $35. That's what it needs to be. And people still need to not go because the Cleveland Browns are disingenuous. They just want to use Shedeur for clicks. People have realized it and people have moved on. So what you see is a lot of podcasters putting Shedeur in their thumbnails, even though Shedeur's not playing in the game, but they're talking about the game. And a lot of them are doing this. ESPN, who I had to block, Cleveland, started their new quarterback tracker, much like they did for the contest with Cleveland, because it's ESPN Cleveland, but they did it for the NFL. So Cleveland is tracking quarterbacks for the NFL. Guess who they have at the top? Arch Manning. I made sure to block them. They are not about to inundate me week after week with Arch Manning at the top of a QB tracker when he's not even in the top 10, top 15, top 20. Because that's what they want to do. Just like Haslam running out there to that game, because that's what they want to do. If they want to get somebody that's not ready to play to give him generational money at $50 million, and then so they can sit him down all season long, then that's what you're going to do. But I'm not going to pay for that. I'm not going to pay for that. And I shared with the members that the lawsuit was updated to include that exact fact. That like fraud has occurred by these teams who's selling us that Trevor Lawrence is the guy. He locked into a 10-year contract down there. Fans are buying season tickets, but he's not who they say he is. And they want to do the same thing to Arch Manning. They want to sell everybody on him going number one to Cleveland as the best QB that can lead the franchise to the Super Bowl. You get all excited. You buy tickets based on that fact. And that's not who he is. And that's not what happens for the team. So the damages have been increased in the lawsuit to $1 billion with a B. That's fraud. So ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. The fact that a rivalry game between two Ohio teams isn't sold out is surprising. I checked Jacksonville. I just want to see, to look around the league and see. They got tickets for some people. They got a little lock on it that are 40% off. Hell, they just sold less tickets. $681. I don't even see. I can't even fathom for that product. For everything we've been inundated with from the NFL as it pertains to Shedeur and these other black quarterbacks. $681. Are you crazy? You don't need to get that away for $15, and it still might be too much. $681. Try $1,000. $1,100. I think people have a bad taste in their mouth with the way Shedeur has been treated, and it's not just black people. And the NFL is banking on people who are in their 80s, who's in their 60s, to come out because they remember a time when black players weren't the quarterbacks, and if so, they were on the bench, or maybe there was one, Doug Williams. That's what they want to run it back to. Well, if you want to run it back that way, then that means you're going to overlook your current fan base, because we are your current fan base, and we don't like the way you treat Shedeur. Hence, fans suing the NFL. How many times did that happen before? That means things are changing. So they just try to use us to buy tickets, and people not going for it. It's called, in Cleveland, they called it a stay away. That's the term that they use for it. I guess it's a social media friendly term as well. So it just kind of makes sense. But for them to say that Shadeur's not ready, that I think that part was the hurtful part, right? Because that's what's being reported. And it just kind of goes to show you that, this young man just has an enormous journey ahead of him. And I know people like, oh, he gonna be okay. He gonna be okay. Yeah, he gonna be okay, but it ain't gonna be easy. And we talked about that before, right? We talked about that before. That's when he first got there and he didn't know anybody, right? And it was uncomfortable for him. The difference is that now he knows a lot of people, but it's still not easy, because at some point he has to be by himself. At some point, he has to lay down and everything get quiet in your mind. And it's probably going to be hella tempting to ask, why me? It's got to be hella tempting. So it said fans are unhappy. Shadeur Sanders is not playing against the Cincinnati Bengals in week 1 because of his potential and impressive preseason debut, which means Shedeur has proven that he is an NFL ready QB. It said his prominent social media presence and speculation that his benching is unjust. That's facts, right? That's facts. It says, however, the Cleveland Browns have stated that Sanders is not ready for the starting role or QB2. We didn't say he had to start, but he should be QB3. Now, I said God can turn a mess into a message, meaning Shedeur not playing is for his protection. Why? I talked to you about the O-line early in the week. And we saw what happened against the Ram game at will, right? We saw the 4th and 1 set up by the head coach in the Panthers game. So we see what they can set him up to get hurt. We can see that. So we like, hey, you know what? You don't have an O-line anyway. It ranks number 28 or 29 out of 32. You go ahead and Flacco, you play. But they're already talking about, yeah, I think we're going to have to go ahead and it's going to be no hesitancy to send Flacco down if he turned over the ball. Flacco threw 13 touchdowns and had 8 interceptions through 5 games. They already know what he's going to do. They use Flacco and Pickett to take up all of those reps so they can have an excuse to justify not developing Shedeur. And it still don't work, because even with less, he did the most. He did good. Even with being set up at 4th and 1 by Stefanski in the Panthers game, he balled the hell out. That's why fans are unhappy, regardless of his social media presence. Social media presence includes fans. And that's what the NFL don't want to accept. We're talking about NFL fans unhappy. Donna said, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Facts. And thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Yep. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Right? And it's funny how they hate what comes with Shedeur, but they want to profit off of it at the same time. That's that confusion that I'm talking about. I'm like, how you mad because he has Shedeurians, because we're Shedeurians. And yes, I dropped the Shedeurian collection. Click on the little shopping bag, check it out. It's cute. The store is nice. Just check out the store. Leave me some comments about it. I had to put some sweat into it. So yeah, I'm a Shedeurian. I don't have no problem with it, because that's what they called us. So I made some t-shirts and some hoodies that say Shadurian with the 12 on the back. Shadurian on the front with the 12 on the back. And but they want to profit off of it. And the crazy part, the even crazier part is that's also what they want Arch Manning to come to town to do. Light it up like Shedeur. They just don't want it from Shedeur because he's black. So that's why a lot of people, not just black people, but black people for sure, not all, because I saw people posting their little, one person posted their little outfit for the game. I'm assuming they mean they're gonna watch it at home. Um, but a lot of black people feel like if you can't respect a black quarterback, if you don't want a black franchise quarterback in the first round, if the most you were willing to do was pre-draft with him under false pretenses and humiliate him, then we don't support you. And that's the right approach. Understand, they pre-draft with him through 3/4 of the process and pivoted away. And you have the right to pivot away. But what you don't have the right to do is when you get him for $4 million, is act like you don't know he's good because you was going to pay him $46 million. That's why we should stay away. So we're not watching the Browns game. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis, when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. We ain't going to see Stefanski. We're not trying to see, honestly, and I actually took a shine to some of the other Browns players like Myles Garrett and Joku. But you know what? Shedeur, we gotta stand up for Shedeur. They obviously can't do it, right? Their contracts demand loyalty, no negativity. So we got to do it. So we staying away. We're watching the Jaguars versus the Panthers. Jimmy Horn Jr., BJ Green, who also BJ Green just dropped a podcast episode. We Are the Greens, part 2 of him, the journey to Jacksonville. And the thumbnail is all the guys from CU, Travis, BJ Green, and Cameron Suma Craig. And then, you know, and so we're watching Jimmy Horn Jr. and the Panthers versus the Jags tomorrow. Let's see. So yeah, I mean that's the gist of it. Don't give in to it. Don't click on it to see. Hell, I ain't gonna tell you. Let me be the voice of authority, but hell, I don't expect no breaking news to come out in favor of Shedeur because they say he ain't ready. They say he ain't ready. Yep, ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. I mean, that's just facts. And that's what they need to understand. Hell, I need to do a t-shirt with that on it. I need to do a brown and orange t-shirt. What ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis, on it and put their stadium, the new one. That's what I need to do. That's exactly what I need to do. Thank you, down in the studio. I appreciate the love and support. Thank you so much. But that's what it is. And I just want y'all to be mindful of something. Yes, Shedeur is a great guy. He's a strong guy. He's also human. So make sure this weekend, you show him love on his social media if he posts. I don't think he's doing YouTube. I don't even know if he's still doing Twitch. Whatever it is, just make it a point to go over his page, like his stories, show him some love. Honestly, that's why I created the hoodie that says Shedurian, because they said we're Shedurians as if that's a bad thing. So like anything else, I just turned it into a positive. Just show your support, right? Show your support on his page. If you see, repost it or just go over there and show him some love, because it's not easy being in this type of situation. And we done talked about enough chaos. So there's one part we probably gonna share next time instead of this time, because again, I don't like the podcast episode to be too heavy. And with Colorado searching for its identity or trying to make sure, going through an identity crisis, I feel like that's enough. But just been looking at different people who used to play in the league talk about their experiences with being in a toxic situation. We'll just save that for another time. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here because we're gonna try to have some fun, and then we'll be back tomorrow. Again, just turn your notifications on. It's the middle of the day. I plan on watching the Jaguars game, but I'm committed. I'm committed to going live for the Baltimore Ravens. And there was some talk about Shiloh going to the Ravens. Now, I did my research. I didn't see where that had occurred, but it did seem to possibly be a conversation. So again, you got to kind of filter through the AI putting out messy stuff. But that was brought to my awareness today. So I did some research, and he has not been picked up, but maybe Baltimore kind of entered the conversation. So maybe, just maybe, Shiloh will pop up if somebody's injured. The Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, just pulled somebody off of their practice squad because of an injury. So maybe that's one way that Shiloh makes it back in. But we shall see, because right now they are charging him $4,000 for hitting that other player. And maybe he has to pay that first, and maybe he already paid it. But, that kind of thing. Like, did anybody get fined in the Philly Dallas game with the very gross behavior between the two guys, the quarterback Dak and Jalen Carter or somebody? Did either of them get fined for their behavior? So, that fine kind of signals, that I don't know, that it just seemed like they don't really want him, right? And I just kind of wish he would get back to doing his vlogging, because we miss him in that space. Um, but the whole thing with the Cowboys in Philly, I didn't hear if anybody got fined, but maybe that'll happen later. But we'll just keep Shiloh in our prayers. We just want to pray God's will be done. Maybe the league is not where he needs to be. Maybe it's best if, well, like I suggested, he go off and like destroying. He start his own league, and destroying now has a new team. He was doing the one-on-ones, right? He got really popular with that. He and Cam Newton have a new team. They're doing 3-on-3s. You bring your quarterback, you bring your wide receiver, and your quarterback, cornerback, and wide receiver. So it's 3 versus 3. So kind of like the big 3, but for football. They just went with 3 players instead of 11. And these don't appear to be high school kids. These seem to be adults playing 3-on-3 is what they calling it. So go check it out. Destroying and Cam Newton's new team. And I hope Shiloh finds inspiration from it and starts his own team, 11-on-11 or 7-on-7, and stream it. And Gunna, who has a 7-on-7 team that played at the Rose Bowl, which is how I know these guys can get venues. Gunna has been signed by Under Armour. He started his own run club. So, his transformation into fitness has become his saving grace. He started a run club. He just had their first run, the first 5K run or some kind of run up in New York. And he's been signed with Under Armour. So if Gunna can go all of these paths and he never went to the NFL, despite the other stuff, Shiloh can too, right? So let's look for Shiloh probably on the big stage or something else. I think a lot of people will be fine without football, right? So same thing for Shedeur. We don't know how this is going to go. We just know that they haven't released him yet. So we'll see. We'll be back and congratulate Gunna. Show Shedeur some love. Go watch BJ Green podcast. The Greens are hot. Yeah. And then we're going to watch that game tomorrow. But we're committed. We're committed to Ravens versus Bills tomorrow night. So I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a good one. Go enjoy yourself or get some rest, whichever you need and deserve. All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.